As good as the Celtics played, being down 0-3, they made history by, just coming back in the series the way they did against the Heat. But ultimately, they failed the mission. They didn't succeed. They didn't, finish it out. They didn't, see the whole thing through. And granted, a lot of people are going to say, Jason Tatum with the injury and everything. And I know that's definitely true, because if Jason Tatum was healthier, if he didn't hurt his ankle in the beginning, I think he would have played a little bit better, but I don't know how much difference it would have made, with Miami playing the way they played in last night's game. But now we're moving on to the finals. And, the Celtics are not going to be a part of it. A lot of people thought the Celtics were. I personally am not a fan of the Celtics, but at the same time, I respected what they were doing, because I thought they was on a crash course to make history, and Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown definitely would shut up a lot of their naysayers by doing something like that. That's never been done in 150 tries, but now it's 151 tries, and nobody's completed the being down 0-3 comeback win yet. So we're still... history still has been made in that regard, but I definitely think, the Celtics, for their sake, being down 0-3, coming back in a series like that definitely, is some history all on its own for them, but at the same time, they couldn't do it. Miami's moving on to the finals against, Jokic and the Nuggets, which is going to be a tough run for the Miami Heat, even though, a lot of the players that Miami has, they're real scrappy, they're real hungry, and they got something to prove. They got a chip on their shoulder. And, when players play with a chip on their shoulder, you get the best out of them. And I think, Eric Spoelstra definitely should be considered as one of the, if not the best coach in the league, because what he's doing with these type guys, with a star player in Jimmy Butler, who's not even really a superstar looked at in most people's eyes. I mean, he's taking his team pretty far, and when I look at something like this, you got to give Eric Spoelstra a lot of credit, because a lot of these guys are undrafted. A lot of these guys don't have, the portfolio, I should say, of other players in regards to being drafted, coming from an accredited college that a lot of people, look at. And on top of that, making it to the NBA, through the draft. These guys on the Heat have played, really hard through this whole season. And you got to give them credit for getting that far. And Jimmy, got to give him credit for taking his team this far, But regardless of that, the Celtics, hey, it's another year, down with them. I don't know if the law firm is going to be back together next year. I wouldn't be surprised if they aren't, especially with, comments like Jaylen Brown made after the game. He just seemed, but I mean, there again, it's a disheartening loss, especially at home, on your home floor. The Celtics start out so bad from three. They couldn't really hit a lick. They couldn't get into no rhythm. And that's the reason why they're not going to the NBA Finals, But I don't know what's to come with this team, as far as, like I said, the law firm, are they going to still be together? There was reports a couple of seasons ago that they should have broke the band up back then, but they made a NBA Finals, and they couldn't find a way to win it, but they found a way to make the NBA Finals, and they tried to follow up this year with that same outcome, but it just didn't happen that way. So I mean, it is what it is. But I mean, at this point, honestly, like I said, to me, the finals probably would have been a lot better to me if the Celtics were playing the Nuggets, because I feel like it'd be more firepower, more offensive explosion, in the finals. But there again, Miami presents a challenge to the Nuggets that they might not have faced so far. A team that plays, hella defense, a team that, basically will lock you down all four quarters and wear you down. And like I said, it worked for them. And Jimmy Butler scores in instances and moments, and he has all them other guys scoring at a high clip as well, like Caleb Martin, Gabe Vincent. Those guys are really, coming into the game, and they're really looking to score. And, honestly, you got to give Miami credit, because they're doing all this without Tyler Hero, a 20-point game scorer that they don't have, and they're still finding themselves in the NBA Finals. So you got to give them credit there. You got to give them credit for, making it this far from the play-in tournament, which is definitely history all on its own for them also, them making history by doing that. And, just the fight and the hunger in this team, you got to give them credit, and Eric Spoelstra and the rest of the crew. So shout out to the, Miami Heat for, making it out of this dogfight that you made a dogfight, because really it should have been a lot easier. They was up 3-0, so to me they should have beat them 4-1 at the least. I mean, at best. I mean, it shouldn't even have took this long, but I mean, hey, sometimes it doesn't matter, whether it took 6 games, 5 games, 7 games, or 4 games. As long as you win the series, that's all that matters. And the Miami Heat's moving on to the finals against Jokic and the Denver Nuggets, which is, all that matters, at this point in time. And we'll see how that series pans out. I personally look at that series, man, it's hard to say, but I guess, I am not a Nuggets fan at all, so I would definitely, if I had to pull for a team or pull for whichever team I think that will win in this situation, I'm going to go with Miami. Out on a limb, I'm going to go with Miami. Find a way to get a championship. With their defense, I think that they can, neutralize some things that Jokic and the Nuggets do well. But the Nuggets and Jokic got a lot of size, so that can, bother, the Heat a whole lot, especially, with Bam being undersized to a degree to Jokic. And on top of that, them playing pretty much predominantly small all the time, it doesn't bode well for the size that the Nuggets have. Plus, the Nuggets can play small too, so they got some defense also. So it's going to be a tough series. I believe it's going to go about 6 games. I think I think Miami can, take them out in 6, if they play defense the way they're supposed to, and Eric Spoelstra is good at making adjustments and everything. So I can't wait to see, how it pans out. But of course, the Celtics and the Nuggets would have been more interesting finals to me. But at the same time, we got what we got. The Heat and the Nuggets, that's it. And the Celtics, they're going to have to wait till next year or another to try to come back and do it again.